in our society, we're taught to not create, we're taught to consume, right? We're not taught to make things for other people, we're taught to take things from other people. So, I mean, when you're looking at something like punk music and folk music, all you have to do is pick up the guitar, and it's 3 chords, right? You know, Seeger, like Pete Seeger always talks about the people's key. It's the people's key, you know, G or D, I can't remember. But the fact of the matter is, it's not about the chords, it's not about that, it's about connection, you know? Woody Guthrie and Pete Seeger were buying $800 cars and driving them into the ground to play union halls in the middle of nowhere. I mean, what's more punk than that? I believe that I've done the exact same thing, you know? Yeah. And so the aesthetic continues, maintains, it changes because of the people who engage it, but the ethos is what's there.
It's the song, the sigh of the weary. Hard times, come again no more. Many days you have lingered around my door. Oh, hard times, come again no more.
When I was first writing songs for The Wild, or before The Wild, they were more overtly political, you know, like more of the narrative, like song structure, you know, where you take something from the paper, you know, that was like really popularized by like Phil Oakes, you know, and even early Bob Dylan, you know, but I think that, you know, once I like saw the energy that you could create with like a full band, you know, and like people dancing and, you know, where not everyone's kind of like hanging on the lyrics, you know, so much, but you're trying to convey something else with it. Like, you know, since then I've just been really excited, you know, that about the idea that, you know, especially at a DIY show, that people are creating a space, you know, and an energy and a synergy between the band and the people there that, you know, is very contrary to, you know, everything else, you know, in our society. You know, people just supporting each other, or, you know, bumping into each other, like wanting to be together instead of isolated, you know, and you know, and I think that's like the main goal for me, like politically, is that I want everyone to feel included.
I always sort of thought it was funny when punk kids would sort of make fun of hippie kids and be like, fuck that, you know, like we're nothing alike. I'm like, there's a lot of stuff overlapping. Like,
both smell bad, bad hygiene.
Yeah.
Come on.
They both play awful music. They make bad food.
Yeah, and it's cool. Like Crass definitely like pointed that out. You know, like saying, you know, why are you hating the hippies? They're fighting the same thing that you're fighting for.
For me is channels, you know, through the notes. It's a very specific language, especially American folk music, that kind of defies time in my mind, because there's, you know, you can't place a date for any of this, for the music that's happening, but what you feel and what you know about the music is kind of infinite. It can be redefined over and over again, but it continues onward. With punk, you know, you have people who are engaging it because they have an aware consciousness about the ability to tangibly create something, and I think that is what it's really about.
I feel like they're lasting genres, so to speak. Like, whenever somebody wants to get into folk music, they're gonna look to like Bob Dylan, Woody Guthrie, Pete Seeger. Like, it's pretty straightforward, whereas with pop music, if you wanted to get into pop music, you're going to look to whatever's current. So it has a really strong lastability.
Yeah.
And it's the same with punk music.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Like, people just getting into punk, it's like Dead Kennedys, Minor Threat, Black Flag. There's a staple. So it's interesting how something that seems like simple on the surface has such a strong lasting power, I guess, and anybody can play punk. Like, I know somebody that's been playing guitar for like 3 months and they're in a punk band.
I think that you know, what folk music has always offered people is like a simple sort of like explanation that, you know, you can like kind of dig into deeper if you want to, but you know, that was the genius of Woody Guthrie, is he could say these like extremely profound things about, you know, what he saw in his environment in very simple ways, you know, and that's very accessible, and it creates an equal space for people to like listen to music and learn from it.